Facing a cancer recurrence after radiotherapy can be a challenging prospect, but advancements in treatments provide renewed hope. One such method that has been increasingly recognized for its effectiveness is ReIrradiation. Historically, it was believed that patients could only receive a single lifetime radiation dose. However, emerging data now shows that many parts of the body can undergo multiple rounds of radiation when cancer returns. This is where CancerReTreatment.org steps in. What's our solution? At CancerReTreatment.org, we've created a novel ReIrradiation calculator. This user-friendly tool lets you input the original radiation dose, cumulative radiation limits, and the new treatment details. Our calculator then determines the safe remaining dose for an at-risk organ during ReIrradiation. Our thresholds are sourced from established studies, accessible in our templates. The algorithm is straightforward. It factors in the initial radiation received, calculates the safe residual dose, and, based on the second treatment plan, determines a safe dose that doesn't surpass total tolerance limits. It's a clear, evidence-backed guide for a second radiation treatment, ensuring safety for the patient. Now, let's transition from our introduction and start breaking down the steps for incorporating CancerReTreatment.org into your workflow. The initial step is to conduct a new simulation scan and import the images into your preferred treatment planning software. Subsequently, you need to acquire the records from the first round of radiation. Ideally, this will encompass isodose lines and structures from the initial treatment. If available, import these into your treatment planning software as well. Next, carry out a fusion of the original simulation scan to superimpose and adjust prior structures and isodose lines onto your new simulation scan. By using the prior isodose lines and visually inspecting anatomical landmarks where previous radiation was applied, you can use Boolean logic and contour those organs at risk that received certain levels of dose, especially high-dose areas. In this instance, we can observe the high-dose region of the great vessels being contoured. Label areas of OAR overlap with previous dosage as avoidance structures, such as great vessels prior 60 gray. Now, let's shift to the use of our calculator. Using your web browser, navigate to CancerReTreatment.org and proceed to the Calculator section. Here, enter the specifics of the initial radiation treatment course, including dose and fractionation. By default, the alpha-beta ratio is set to 3 for normal tissues, but this can be adjusted according to the entire plan or on an organ-specific basis. Choose the organs at risk you want to evaluate by selecting preset options or using your own custom criteria. In this example, we'll employ the thoracic preset. You can now select any OARs you want to evaluate by ticking the checkbox or clicking the organ name. The OARs and dosimetric values you use would be those for the OARs you have already contoured that overlap with the prior radiation, such as the great vessels from the previous step. By default, the presets incorporate cumulative safe and borderline thresholds obtained from academic literature. You can click on the dosimetric value or reference icon to view the reference literature for that constraint. Input the dose each OAR received from the initial course of radiation. This data may aid in determining if your current fractionation plan will be feasible. You also have the option to switch between EQD2 and BED values by clicking the relevant toggle button. Take note, you can also change the alpha-beta ratio you're using for each organ by clicking the checkbox and providing a new alpha-beta ratio. You also have the choice to create your own unique constraints. Now, input the prescription you intend to treat the patient with, whether it's 60 gray in 10, 70 gray in 35, or 50 gray in 4. In the final step, evaluate the safe and borderline values for metrics like Dmax, D2cc, V20 gray, and more that appear in the results section as the calculator considers the OAR's cumulative threshold, the exposure from the first course, and your second course fractionation. The result offers remaining safe and borderline constraints that can be used during planning to ensure your case is as safe as possible. We provide several methods to facilitate communication of these metrics to other team members, including print, share, and download functions as shown here. Armed with a planning directive, you are now prepared to approach ReIrradiation in a more streamlined, intelligent, and confident manner, safe in the knowledge that you're crafting the most secure and effective plans for your patients. For more information, pay a visit to cancerretreatment.org.